Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
arrived. To demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
That's it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here today. It's the end of the week. We've made it. The weekend is upon us. Today is the 21st of February. So we have two signs we're dealing with as always, the moon sign and the sun sign. The sun sign is Pisces, where it will be for the rest of this month and half of next month. Pisces is a water sign. Pisces is emotion. Water is emotion. You've got emotion and you have two fish, the symbol of the Pisces, swimming opposite directions because the emotions get in and they affect things. So the fish swims one way, affected by the emotions, and then it goes the other way. Fish needs to learn how to not jump at every single emotion that comes in the way and be more effective. So balance is very important to the Pisces, to balance out those emotions, to not to jump at everything, to learn how to prioritize is important as well for the Piscean energy. So that does all these things that come along. Pisces are very creative though, so this is a very creative time. Emotionally, a lot of stuff going on. And let's see here, we have a square coming up to be aware of between our moon sign, which is Scorpio, water sign, and Mercury. So we know that Scorpio is all about deep things that are buried that come to the surface. So the idea of darkness is implied simply because they're down so far into the depths of the water. As they rise to the surface and they need attention, sometimes they are a bit shocking or challenging because what comes up from the surface, it's been hidden so long that we need to reacquaint ourselves with what it is and then find a way to apply it into our lives in one way or another. So there's that lesson that's coming up, and how do we communicate what is buried deep, those emotions that are buried deep. So that's the lesson coming up just before noon here on the Pacific time. Okay, and over the weekend we're going to be making a transition. We're going to be going into Aquarius, 4:12 a.m. in the morning. We're making that switch from Scorpio to Sagittarius, and we'll be there for the weekend. And then when we come back Monday, we'll be making another transition as well. Okay, so Scorpio right now, Sagittarius over the weekend. Sagittarius is a fire sign, so lots of ideas and creativity to deal with. Alright, we go over to our sky today, the 21st. Capella passes closest to the straight overhead around 7 p.m. now, depending on how far east or west you are in your time zone. So let's take a look and see what this is. Where's the map at? Where did it go? Oh, it was here, now it's gone. Alright. Well, no pictures today. Just a description of what's going on. Alright. The moon phase is waning, which means it's going down back to a new moon. 61% of the way there. In the Mayan Oracle, we're at a 10-tone day, which is called the planetary tone of manifestation. Kin for today is the wizard, which is all about timelessness. Guide for today is the wind, which is about inspiration. Today is the planetary wizard, guided by the wind. We could see where our position here is in the wave spell, or the theme of the serpent life force energy. phrase for today is I perfect in order to enchant, producing receptivity. I seal the output of timelessness with the planetary tone of manifestation. I'm guided by the power of spirit. And today is another one of our galactic activation portal days. We have one more to go tomorrow, and then we'll have some clear, smooth sailing for a couple of days, and then we get into the middle pillar. So when we get back next week, that's where we're going to be all next week. Right down in that center pillar, okay? So that's what's going on here. Our numerology for today is number 3. How did we arrive at the number 3? Here's how. 2 for the month, 21 is the day, so 2 plus 2 plus 1, that's 5 for today. The day and the date, the year is a 7, so that makes today a 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3, so today would be a 3-tone day on a numerological scale. So 3s, we know, is a tarot card of the Empress. Venus is the sign that deals with Empress. It's all about love, imagination, creativity, expressing oneself. 3s are tolerant, joyful, optimistic, inspiring, talented, jovial, youthful, dynamic. But 3s, on the negative side, they are vain, extravagant, prone to complaining, intolerant, hypocrisy, impatience, and superficial. So it just depends on the way you look at them. Remember, 3s are all about that creative energy. Okay? It's the Empress, giving birth to our creative ideas, to our imagination. Whatever that might be. Remember, we can create with our minds, with our imagination. So it's important that the things we create are the things we want to create, and not the other way around, not other things. And let's look at our space weather. Solar wind is 481.9 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is 3, so we've calmed down a little since yesterday from the 6. Not much in the way of coronal holes. A little something up here, a little something here, but mainly smoothed over. M-class flare 35%, X-class 5, geomagnetic storm activity. Looks like in the higher latitudes we got a 50% chance of something severe, but that's subsiding as it gets into the weekend. So that's what's going on there. And that gets us started for today. UFO news is up next, so let's check it out.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today's UFO news starts off with Oklahoma sighting. Sighting took place in Oklahoma. It's by Roger Mars. Trail cameras capture strange light phenomena. Oklahoma witnesses in Maud are curious about light and fog images captured on a game camera. After setting up the equipment in the hopes of knowing that it was disturbing the caged chickens, according to February 13th testimony from the MUFON database. And captured incidents occurred on various nights, with the most recent logged in at 1:04 a.m. February 4th, 2014. There have been numerous pictures taken by different game cameras that I've put out that catch funny looking lights as well as fog-like things we can't understand, the reporting witness stated. I first put out the camera to try to catch something that was getting the chickens that were caged. Captured objects seem to vary. One is kind of small spinning object. I've kept 2 of these photos. The one that was spinning, there are pictures of streaking lights. One a mule is staring at. It was in the middle of the night. There are so many different types of things that seem to be going on. The reporting witness and a nearby boyfriend also witnessed odd lights themselves. One night she spoke of her boyfriend by telephone. He said that I was sure I was missing the light. I hurried over to his house and saw the same thing happen only twice. He said it had been continuous before I arrived. I laid in bed staring at the star-like thing that was above the tree line for 2 hours. Finally went to sleep because I was just sitting there doing nothing. She has tried to rule out established light on the property that might be producing the phenomena. There is a security light where this was happening, and it was located above to the west of the security light. There are no other lights where this thing was. The fields I filled out above in the report describe not one sighting But this one, plus all the other streaks of light we see in the game camera. There are several I have a fog-like object taken in the pen. I had the game camera located in. I was trying to catch whatever I've been taking the chickens. I've moved in around several times and seemed I was always getting something weird on it. One picture shows large lights like something from way above is shining down the area of the house, pens and shop, like 4 or 5 illuminating, like 4 or 5 fingers of light coming from the sky. I also have one picture that shows lights of funny illuminating right in front of the camera between the chicken pens and the game cam. Alright, and here we have a little bit more with some of these pictures. Here we go. There's one right there. Interesting. Okay, so links available so you can check it out. See what you think of that. Next, gray metallic UFO near the moon in NASA photo. This is February 21st. Was searching for anomalies in NASA photos and came across this one, a gray purple disc on the right side of the moon. Okay, Scott C. Waring. There it is right there. Again, all of these photos that Scott shows you and others show you are photos that come from NASA themselves. You also have Street Cap 1 catches a lot of things from the NASA channel. Okay, so there you go. Let's move on to the next one. This is a UFO sighting in Pucallpa, Peru. Many people in the Pucallpa region of Peru have reported seeing strange lights and objects in the sky in 2014. Now here's a whole report of this. This is 7 minutes and 15 seconds to watch the whole thing. But there is our object in question. Okay, we got some witness testimony here of what they're seeing. Alright, lots of good testimony here and people explaining what they were seeing. Okay. So we definitely have some good images. And there we go. Okay. So definitely check this out and watch the whole thing. Okay. Just going to move from here to the next one. Okay. Now we go to one that says UFO is bigger than a house and silent. The truth is out there and it may have been found in Vineland. An unidentified resident was headed to sleep around midnight 21st when he noticed bright lights outside their window, a possible UFO sighting. The resident, who has yet to be identified, then alerted their fiancée, according to a report made by the MUFON on the 5th of February. When we pulled the shade down, we noticed that the lights were so bright that it illuminated the whole front yard, the report indicated. The report purportedly describes what the couple saw, consisting of 3 low-flying lights in a triangular shape. The photo depicting the incident also appears on a number of other websites reporting the Vineland saucer. The object was bigger than my house, the report states. The object was completely silent. It was flying to the east at a crawl. The couple weren't the only ones to see the unidentified flying objects. According to the report, the witness finding pictures of the UFOs on their friend's Facebook the next day. At that time, I did not feel threatened or scared. I was in awe, the witness said. The report said a photo of the UFO can be found on the MUFON website. A scientific study for UFOs. The Vineland UFO also reported by the Huffington Post. Okay. We can go on. There's a lot more to this article here. As she says, the object was bigger than the house, completely silent, flying east at a crawl. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Very low altitude triangle UFO frightens witnesses. We talked about this earlier. This is, let's see, a witness driving home east down Warwick Avenue. I noticed lights over the field. At first, I thought it was a plane about to crash, and I got closer and I traveled. It wasn't moving, and I slowed down to figure out what I was looking at. Came to a complete stop, was staring right at a large ship. I knew this was no plane or blimp or anything I'd seen in my life. It was so shining like fresh polished chrome, and it was triangular, had a smooth curve on the top that was shiny but very dark like black. There were red lights that stayed on and white lights that were so ultra-white on the sides. It seemed like they only illuminated the craft. Nothing around it was illuminated. And the reflection from the white light pulsated off the craft as well as green lights that did the same on the bottom. But when I further went up the road, the light seemed to span out in the air. Then I stopped. It was just a craft pulsating. There was no noise at all. At first I was confused, and when it sunk in what it was, I was in awe and felt very uneasy. I got nervous. It was a dark road. I saw headlights in both directions, so keeping my eyes on the road, looking back, I made a U-turn to go back and tape it. I looked for a few seconds to make the turn, and it vanished. I felt a little scared. I drove way back down the road slowly. There was nothing in the field or in the sky. There were two people who were walking down the road who are now running. All right, so there you go. And one more story here for today. UFOs, USOs in our oceans and our waterways, from Chris Holly at UFO Digest. I've been writing about UFOs for years. I have interviewed and recorded on my blog many reports given to me by wonderful people who were willing to share their sightings and their encounters with UFOs. It did not take me long to realize that many of the reports were of UFOs that were close to large areas of water. Of course, there were many sightings seen over land all over Earth. However, I realized that this planet is mainly water. It soon became obvious that as well as having the ability to maneuver easily above the planet, UFOs also have proven they can easily do so below our oceans, lakes, and waterways too. I believe that this planet is an easy place to park for our visiting advanced life forms, as we offer many land areas that are remote or still untouched by humans, as well as vast waterways of deep water so easily submerge and base from that without interference of little annoying topsider earthlings. We are a water planet with our mass consisting of far more water than our land, making us an easy target for those who travel the cosmos as to stop, land, and even stay without disturbing the topside living humans. Long Island, New York has been a hotbed of UFO activity for a long time. Since Long Island is a thin Long Island that sticks out in the Atlantic Ocean, it is a logical place for those living on the island to spot the coming and going of odd crafts that fly in from the Atlantic over the island on their way to other destinations. It is also an easy place to abduct a few innocent humans for whatever reasons they may have, which is why so many people have had encounters with strange events, strange crafts in this part of the world. Combine this with the fact that the Air Force base was once located there, as well as Plum Island and Brookhaven Lab, and you have a perfect storm for alien UFO activity for the poor souls who live in this island. This was especially true in the 1950s through to the late 70s, as the population of the eastern half of Long Island was far less than it is today. Rising from the Atlantic Ocean's floor and heading the short distance to a sparsely populated island made abduction a piece of cake for those doing the abducting and a nightmare for those poor people being taken against their will for reasons that still remain unknown. The fact that Camp Hero and Plum Island were close at hand always was very strange in my thinking, as they were both dangerous places, yet located a mere 100 or so miles from New York City. As I started my journey of writing about the many encounters of those who live in my area, I realized it was not difficult to tie to the idea the above labs and military bases may have been involved with whatever was flying over the island and intruding on the lives of those who lived in less populated areas of the island during that time period. I always thought of the alien-human alliance was formed long ago without choice on the human side. I believe that our visitors would use our oceans, skies, and be allowed a certain quota of earthy humans to abduct for whatever reasons they so desired, in exchange for not being blown off the face of the earth, and maybe a handful of technology thrown our way by the technology advanced visitors. As far as weaker partners in the arrangement, we really had no choice but to agree to their terms. When I look back at the reports I have coming across concerning odd crafts where I live on Long Island, I realize they're always involved the ocean. Since we are surrounded by the ocean, became a huge factor in the reports. I look back and I think about the vivid descriptive sightings told to me by those in the mid-60s who encountered UFOs flying from the ocean along the rivers to the land masses of the island of people who were honest, good people who were shocked by what they had seen. I think back to a woman who lived along the coastline of Long Island who had a breakdown after she and her husband and a few of her neighbors encountered a huge UFO hovering over the mouth of the great river on the south shore of Long Island. I recall the skeptics who, along with entire family, reported yet another large craft lifting from the water on the Connecticut coast of Long Island Sound while they sat shocked as what they were seeing as they sat in their car on the dock of West Haven. I could not handle the amount of orb sightings I was receiving about 2 years ago, all coming from the Atlantic Ocean and flying along the south shore continent of Long Island. I can recall being told the story of a doctor and his family on a boating trip with a group of other doctors and their families, all hooked together in their cabin cruisers at the mouth of the Long Island Sound, going to the Montauk Point and the Great Atlantic Watch as a naval vessel, Coast Guard ship, and half-submerged submarine chased some type of large craft out of the Sound into the open sea. I could go on and on. However, I think that it is clear that what we are seeing and reporting above our heads are without question linked clearly to the enormous oceans, lakes, rivers that cover most of the planet. I often wonder why it is we are reaching out to space when we have no idea at all what lies at the bottom of the ocean, our own oceans and large water masses. I now think that we dare not look, as we may already know we have agreed to leave it alone, as what we may find may be far too much for us to deal with. I do know from living on an island that has been plagued with UFO sightings for as long as I can remember that the ocean and the unexplained are tied together in a way that we do not understand, and I have not yet given enough focus or investigation to it. One thing I know as fact is that most of the history and explanations we have been offered so far concerning both history and things considered unknown are full of factual mistakes, or in cases simply completely wrong. As far as UFOs or USOs are concerned, we are in constant state of being fed false information and deception, which makes the small amount of truth that get out to us lost in the mix of the manipulated control of facts and the tonnage of fraud and fake reports that are dumped onto the public by the public. Not too long ago, I remember a flap of news being discussed on the internet reported a united cooperation of international warships taking part in what was referred to as the war games with multiple countries of the world, including the United States, China, as well as other major nations attending. This united group of military Navy ships from across the world was supposedly located in the Pacific Ocean close to the northwest coast of America. I could not find enough information to consider this a true report, nor could I find enough to immediately toss it to the fake and false mass information pile either. I thought about this odd group of war games being reported by many in the Pacific Ocean and wondered if this could have been a meeting of the nations who knew something what was located on the Pacific floor and were joining forces to investigate it. It then occurred to me that the reason may have been something more sinister, and the united forces were not there to investigate, but to protect whatever was lurking or landing beneath the ocean floor. To date, I have no idea if any of this is truthful and did take place, or if it was simply internet made-up trash. This is a perfect case that shows how misinformed and lost to real truth we are concerning all of these subjects, leaving us completely in the dark to what goes on in truth with the things we consider unknown and unexplained. Are these strange crafts using our oceans and waterways on the large water-covered planet? I guess for now we will have no way to know for sure. I bet that they are, and they have been for a very long time. The oceans need to be scrutinized by those who can give them some serious study to figure out what truly lurks below the water depths. We need to stay open-minded and alert to the many possibilities that surround these subjects, and most of all, be careful out there, be it by land, sky, or sea. It seems that the unknown is simply everywhere. Until we demand to have the real research and study done by organized professional universities and government agencies we can trust, if such a thing exists, we will never know the truth of our reality and the facts of real life living on planet Earth. Alright, then you have more articles here if you want to read about the war games in the Pacific. Here's the link right here. Alright, so there's a good chunk of what's going on in the UFO world these days. Alright, let me jump away for a moment, and then I'll be back, and we shall continue on. This is called Confirm or Deny.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? Plausible deniability. That's their answer to all we think we see. So pay attention. Read between the lines. Changes are happening, revealing lies. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? Now, underground where they live, in the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? I can neither confirm or deny. They can neither confirm or deny. It's time for them, confirm or deny. No more secret lies. I don't know about you, but I can't stand it anymore. I know what I saw. You know what you saw. Stand up for yourself. Think for yourself. The truth is out there. No more lies. No more lies. No more lies.
No more lies. No more lies. Think we can get to that place? No more lies? It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice if we all told the truth? We all were honest? That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Okay, so what do we have to deal with in the world? Well, we have a lot of rumors to deal with in the world. Okay, that's the first thing I think a lot of us need to deal with down here. What's true and what's not, because we do hear a lot of stuff, a lot of stories every day. And we can get caught up in these stories very, very easily. That can discourage us. Or we can look at the stories and learn from them in other ways and say, okay, we don't want to be discouraged. We just want to be aware of different scenarios that it could occur and then do what we can so that we don't bring that into manifestation. Sometimes just being aware of a situation allows us to change it because we're aware and we decide and we understand that these things we're aware of, we don't like them. Awareness changes lots of things. Okay? It's just a very basic principle that goes on. Well, here's something we want to be aware of. The other day I did a story about bankers. Something's going on in the banking world and the financial world, and we're all going to be affected by it. So let's see what's going on here, what this says. Banker cleanup. We are at the precipice of something so big it will shake the financial world to its core. I feel that this is one of the most important investigations I've ever done. If my findings are correct, each of us might soon experience a severe, if not crippling, blow to our personal finances, the confiscation of any wealth some of us have been able to accumulate in our lifetimes, and the end of the financial world as we once knew it. The evidence to support my findings exists in the trail of dead bodies of financial executives across the globe, and a missing Wall Street Journal reporter who was working at the Dow Jones newsroom at the time of his disappearance. If the bodies were dots on a piece of paper, connecting them results in a sinister picture being drawn that involves global criminal activity in the financial world, the likes of which is almost without precedent. It should serve as a warning that we are at the precipice of something so big it will shake the financial world as we know it to its core. Although the trail of mysterious and bizarre deaths detailed below began in late January 2014, there are others. Not only that, but there will be more, according to sources within the financial world. Based on my findings, these are not mere random, tragic cases of suicide, but of the methodical silencing of individuals who had the ability to expose financial fraud at the highest levels, and the complicity of certain government agencies and individuals who are engaged in the greatest theft of wealth the world has ever seen. We appear to be witnessing a cleanup where J.P. Morgan and Deutsche bankers are at the epicenter of it all. Okay, we got a lot to this article here, so let me just give you the brief rundown. I feel this one of the most, okay, let's see, we went through there, here, same thing. It is often said that life imitates art. In the case of the dead financial executives, perhaps death imitates theater, or more specifically the movie, The International, which coincidentally released in U.S. theaters exactly 5 years ago today. We are told by the media that the untimely deaths of these young men and men in their prime are still either suicides or tragic accidents. We are told what to believe by the captured and controlled media, regardless of how unusual or unlikely the circumstances or how implausible the explanation. Such are the hallmarks of high-level criminality in the involvement of certain U.S. intelligence agency intent on keeping the lid on money laundering on a global scale. Obviously, it is important that the topic is approached with the utmost respect for the families of those who died, that they be allowed to grieve for the loss of their loved ones in private. However, it is extremely important for the truth about what is happening in the global financial arena is not kept from us, as we will also be victims in a different nature. The following is provided as a chronological list of those who have gone missing or have been found dead under mysterious circumstances. It is important to note that the list consists of names of the most recent incidents. There are more that extend back through 2012 and beyond. Okay, so here we've got David Byrd missing, longtime reporter for Wall Street Journal. We have Tim Dickerson, UK-based communications director, Swiss REAG. We have another guy, former senior manager at Deutsche Bank. We have a director of Tala Motors found dead on the 4th floor in Bangkok. Here we have another one. J.P. Morgan employee died after reportedly falling from the roof of a European headquarters. Let's see. We've got another one who worked at Russell found dead and close to Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Here we've got another one. Executive Director, J.P. Morgan Global Equities Group, now deceased. Here we have another one. Founder, the CEO of American Title, found dead in 2001. So, on and on. On and on. A lot more to this article. So, money's a weird thing. Money is a tool that we use to be able to do many wonderful things with. But some people just get so crazy over this money. Look what they do with it. It changes them. Pieces of paper changes them because they think that that piece of paper determines their wealth. But if all that paper went away, then we'd find out what real wealth was. And it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the wealth of spirit, the wealth of who and what you're about. And there's many that without money you'd find out that their integrity is not intact at all. So, just be aware. Doesn't mean that all of these bad things have to happen. We can change things. Remember, we go to the spirit. We change things, and that way we bring different results. When a lot of us think about things, we can make big changes. So there's something going on in the financial arena. Okay, let's just be aware. Let's just not get all carried away and all excited and worried about it. Let's just change it. Let's just fix it. All right. We hear about chemtrails all the time, right? We say, what can we do about them? Well, here's an article that talks about that. How to make chembusters. The William Reich cloudbuster was well known for its ability to create rain, but existed within the continued use in that deadly orgone energy that it absorbed could in fact hurt the operator if it was not correctly drained off. This draining off deadly orgone energy was accomplished by 1. Connecting the cloudbuster to a body of running water, or 2. Connecting the cloudbuster output to an orgone accumulator. However, the orgone accumulator would soon become saturated with the deadly orgone energy, which in turn caused more problems for the operator. So the cloudbuster, as good a technology as it has lain dormant for many years. By utilizing the research of William Reich, we have created a cheap, portable, and easy-to-build device that consistently destroys chemtrails and heals the atmosphere. The Chembuster is the answer to these ongoing attacks. Unlike the original Cloudbuster, the CB changes the deadly orgone energy to good orgone energy and does not become saturated or dangerous to the operator. You can build one of these for about $150. It's a human nature to sit on the sidelines and think that one person cannot change the things that are happening in our country. You now have no excuse for inaction. For a few dollars and a few hours of your time, you can make a difference. A properly constructed CB unit should be able to greatly reduce the effects of chemtrails for about 45 miles in all directions. From the unit, if used with Slim Sperling's environmental tools and a few extra crystals, the diameter can be increased to about 120 miles in all directions. With this device, a mere few hundred concerned citizens can shut down the multi-billion-dollar chemtrail program. The Chembuster cannot do any damage. It can only help and heal. It's up to you to join the fight to save America. Here's the parts you need. So it's pretty simple. You hit a bucket, copper pipes, crystals, metal particles, and plywood. Okay, pretty basic supplies. Pretty basic supplies. You can see how it is, right? Cut the holes. You put the pipes through the holes, just like so. Put them in the bucket like this. Alright, tells you how to do it. There's the templates. What kind of resin you need to use to make this all happen. And we get down to the end here. It says Chembusters destroy chemicals consistently. It may take a few days for your Chembusters to activate the environment enough to do this, but after that point, the spew will disappear within seconds, leaving the UN jets and dissipated trails that drift within the range of the Chembuster will also disperse, but more slowly. The ones that are made up of solids will take longer to dissipate, but we found that these only make about 10% or so of the spewing episodes. Dr. Reich's cloudbusters were extremely dangerous when in operation, since we had no orgone energy attached to them. Bad orgone does carry a charge that can quickly drain one's life force away when it's concentrated in one spot. It's similar to a strong positive charges of static electrical field. When cloud cover is unproductive or unbalanced, the Chembuster busts up. It also helps stop drought. Overall, it just balances the weather. I think it sort of mediates between the ground and the atmosphere somehow. The one in Namibia, Africa, finally brought heavy rain to the desert there. It happened 9/5/01 and it continued for several days. Gert, the fellow who made the Chembuster and reported the occurrence, told me that this had simply never happened in the Namib desert before, to the best of anyone's knowledge. It's arguably the driest region on the planet. Warning, if you touch the pipes when they're drawing the strong, unbalanced, or dead orgone, and you don't put your hand on the base after that, you may experience headaches even into the next day, as a friend of ours did recently. Mind you that our efforts, though somewhat pioneering, should be seen mainly as a springboard for further developments rather than the last word. Suggestion: if you want even more rain, try putting water on the top of the material in the bucket and or hosing down the whole apparatus daily. In freezing climates, over the top of the 6 pipes with the mini umbrella so water can freeze and shatter the crystals. The CB appears to affect chemtrails equally well, whether placed indoors or out. Up to 7 crystals can be placed in each pipe to improve performance. So there you go. There sounds like a nice device that everyone could make inexpensively, put up in their property, and be able to use it to make a difference. All right. Pretty cool, right? Right. All right. Here we have large-scale ruins of ancient city unearthed in Inner Mongolia. There's just an image. Chinese archaeologists unearthed the ruins of a huge ancient city, Shengle, which dates back to late Northern White Dynasty, 386 to 534 AD in Inner Mongolian Autonomous Region. A large-scale funerary monument of 56 ancient tombs, which date back to the Warring States period, from which is 475 BC to 211 BC, was found at the archaeological site along with burial objects and another 20 tombs in different historical period. The rectangular remains of the ancient funerary monuments were discovered during the construction of a local economic zone by accident, according to Wang Bifeng, an official with the Inner Mongolia Cultural Heritage Office. These burial objects were mainly made of pottery, bronze, iron, and jade, and the ancient tombs could be traced back 3 historical time periods. The discovery offers more important information for the research on history of cultural division of the ancient city and help people better understand the history of ancient dynasties. Again, we're always discovering things more and more as we go. All right. So we go through life every day. We learn things. But what if the things we learned weren't correct? What if they were a lie? How would we even know if they're truth or a lie? You see, every day you hear me talk about fire, water, air, and earth, the different elementals that we deal with. Well, the mind, that highest realm, the fire, can be affected greatly by things that go on in the world. And if we are not aware of how our mind is being affected, then we are at the mercy of those who are affecting it. For example, every day people turn on the television and they watch the news. People that aren't aware of what's going on in the news are being bombarded with all sorts of information, layers of information. Things moving this way, things moving that way, colors blinking and flashing, sounds going on, subliminal messages passing behind the screen, and then, of course, the talking head who's in the middle talking about something different than everything else. So while you're focused on one bit of information, there's other bits of information that is getting into your subconscious mind that you're unaware of. Unless, of course, you are paying attention, in which case you know what they're doing. So we need to understand that the only way we're going to understand the truth is to go inside of ourselves, to use the gift of discernment that we have. Otherwise, we could be in trouble. This article says, what if everything you were taught was a lie? By Greg Prescott. There's a war going on right now, and it doesn't involve guns or the military-industrial complex. It's a war on consciousness, and most people are clueless that it even exists. Ultimately, the education system can be blamed for feeding the U.S. propaganda and forcing us to regurgitate it so we can fit in with the rest of society. Our public school systems are set up to get the students primed for economic slavery without ever offering courses that allow students to think creatively or freely. If you trace the companies who print our child's textbooks, you'll find a Zionist agenda behind all of them. For example, George W. Bush's grandfather, Prescott Bush, was arrested for funding both sides of World War II, yet we neither learned this in school. Why? Yet we never learned this in school. Why? Because we had learned this. Had we learned this, neither Bush would have been elected president for having been a traitor in their lineage. We are taught about Darwinism and how man evolved from ape. But if this were true, then why are there still apes? And surely Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. Granted, some things we will learn in school are truth, such as math, music, and some science, but our true history has been kept for us for reasons of subservience, control, and conformity. In all forms of education, there are still perpetual references to fossil fuels, including at college level. How ridiculous is that? Oil is abiotic, which means replenishes itself, yet we are draining the planet of a lubricant that serves no other interest other than economic. For example, in the late 1980s, Stanley Meyer invented a car that could go from coast to coast in the United States on 21 gallons of water. He was offered $1 billion from the automobile industry for his invention, but turned it down because he wanted his idea to go to the people. Shortly afterwards, he was poisoned to death, and the invention has been hidden from us ever since. Yet our children are not learning about inventions such as as Meyer in schools, nor are they being encouraged to develop alternative fuel sources. Our children are invariably asked, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? The answers become conditioned responses in various forms of economic subservience instead of what they truly would like to do. A better question to ask them, once they understand the concept of money, is, if there were no such thing as money, then what would you like to do with your life? Surely the fry cook with a high school education would still not be making French fries at a fast food restaurant. There are literally thousands of out-of-place artifacts that show how we have been here much longer than the official story of both evolution and the Bible, yet no high school or university will come near approaching this topic because it would blow the lid off all religions. For example, in Illinois, a well-bit bought up 200,000-year-old bronze coin from a depth of 114 feet just outside Pucallpa, Illinois. According to Illinois State Geological Survey, the deposits containing the coin are between 200,000 and 400,000 years old. If our true history was revealed, it would cause every system of education to rewrite history and would make the professors teaching history look like idiots. So it's much easier to suppress the truth than to admit that they were wrong while killing religion. It is blatantly obvious that the religion has been teaching either half-truths or full-out lies right from the start. According to the Christian Bible, God created Adam and Eve and told them to be fruitful and multiply. Based on this premise, we would all be products of incest. There are 4 different blood types, AB, and O, along with 2 different RH values. It is literally impossible to have 4 different blood types and 2 different RH blood values all originating from Adam and Eve. Yet people happily accept this as the truth without ever questioning their human origins. The Bible dates back to approximately 6,000 years ago. Assuming God created everything at that point in time, then there shouldn't be any fossils older than 6,000 years of age. In Genesis 1:26, it is stated, "Let us make God in our image." Who is us and our? Some religious zealots would say it's the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, but this was long before the Son was conceptualized, let alone Adam and Eve. Another example would be Noah and his alleged gathering of every pair of animals on the planet. How did he gather animals that were not indigenous to the Middle East, such as polar bears, penguins, and sea lions? Most people have equally hard time understanding that both religions and governments will lie to you in order to fulfill an agenda. In religion, look no further than several clergy members of the Roman Catholic Church who admitted that the fictitious hell does not exist. In government, look how Hitler burned down his own Reichstag building and blamed the communists in order to incite war. Many people believe the same template was used for 9/11. The closer you look, the more you'll find that religion is in bed with the government, as both are about controlling the masses through subservience, control, and conformity, while neither encouraging free thinking or questioning the official stories. Most people seem to have the attitude that if a talking head on an official news station such as CNN says something, then surely it must be the truth. A CIA whistleblower has already admitted that the news has been scripted for decades in order to influence public opinion. A recent article entitled "Why the Obama Administration Putting Government Monitors in Newsrooms" shows how there will never be a fair and unbiased news reporting in the United States. The television shows that people watch are either so mundane or intellectually draining that you're better off not watching TV at all. Furthermore, the commercials are either hyping materialistic crap that we don't need, processed food laden with GMOs, alcohol, or some big pharma pill that they only place a symbolic bandage over the real issue and never cure you of anything. The actors they use will sell these products ultimately are telling you that they are not pretty or handsome enough and that our lives should be so much better if we were like them. This is the literal programming we receive when we watch TV, yet millions of people would rather do that than to better themselves with a hobby or creating something that would benefit humankind. Those in power want you to be distracted as much as possible with no time to think critically or independently about anything other than who won the recent sports game or the latest contest on a reality show. For those who watch too much TV, each day you waste by doing nothing to better yourself is one day less that you had an opportunity to grow in your body, mind, and spirit. Instead of watching TV, spend time reading and researching material from the masters. You can find a large quantity of esoteric text. Here's a link to that here. Instead of getting your news from the mainstream media, go to alternative news websites such as In5D Alternative News or First Contact Radio. and get your news from the main, you know. Sadly, most people will fight for the same systems that has kept us all economic slaves than to envision a world without money, government, or religion. Einstein is often quoted as saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again but expecting different results. Well, this is reminiscent of every election, as they always boil down to the lesser of two evils, and you always end up with evil. If you look hard enough, you can always find truth, but most people aren't willing to spend enough time doing so. These are the same people who are content with watching 3 to 5 hours of TV every day. Ultimately, use your discernment when researching anything, including anything that's on this website. If your gut tells you something's wrong, then chances are there is something wrong with what you read. You're always being guided to find the answers, whether through the personal experience or through the experience of others. Be open-minded about everything you read and watch when researching, and you will continue to follow your path of enlightenment. The war in consciousness will go on as far as you will allow it to go. Question everything. And that ending statement is right, you know. It's going to, as far as you want it to go. It's your mind. It's your consciousness. If you want to be controlled, you can be controlled. And you can turn a blind eye and you can pretend that you're not being controlled. Or you can determine that you're not going to be controlled and not be controlled. And you could be completely aware of the control mechanisms in place, and you could do the part not to get involved with it. Sometimes just being aware. Sometimes just being aware. I mean, how many people do you know? I know a bunch that say, well, if it wasn't on the mainstream news, then it's not real. If Bill O'Reilly didn't say it, then it must not exist. How many people do you know in your life that think Rachel Maddow's the be-all, end-all, or Bill O'Reilly, or Sean Hannity, or any of the mainstream? It's kind of silly. People think, oh, Bill O'Reilly's doing a great job. Look how he's exposing Obama. Yeah, he's doing stuff now. But when 9/11 was going on, he really covered up for George Bush and the whole 9/11 lie. So it goes both ways. They're not on anyone's side except their own. Okay? We have to stop listening to the media. We have to use our sense of discernment, because there is a war, and it's a war for your mind. It's a war for your mind. Think back to Star Wars. The Force is strong upon the weak-minded. Don't be a weak-minded one. I know you're not, but you know many people around you that are, right? I know you do. I know you do. I hear your emails. I hear your frustrations. I know, because I experienced the same things as well. All right. Here is a message. This is from Ipchris. Message to humanity. And let's jump over to this for today.
Ipchris, Message to Humanity.
By Karen Doonan, February 20th, 2014.
Greetings to all at this time and much love from all to all, within all, and around all as the events now unfold that will take the human race out of darkness and fully into the light of truth. I am Ipchris from the planet that is called Mars, and I come to guide and to explain that which will now begin to manifest from within the human race. I am here to speak on behalf of the peoples of Mars, and I ask that you allow my energy to flow through you, within you, and around you, for all are one and all just is. The influx of the higher dimensional energies triggering many at a human conscious waking mind level, but allowing for much shifting and movement at a soul level, and this is the overlay that I wish to converse with you about. For the soul has been distorted by the old 3D Earth created reality teachings, and now you are asked to allow your soul to show you the path home, for home is a destination that is pre-coded into your DNA. Many of you are now triggering at a human conscious waking mind level, bracing yourself for an event and allowing the old 3D Earth created reality to allow to bring to the surface the emotions that seek to blind you. Event is a term that is used to allow you to prepare for that which is deep within your soul. All incarnated into human form upon this planet for a reason, and this reason sits at soul level. The wrappings of the old 3D Earth created reality are now being peeled off. For many of you they are literally dissolving, for others you are trying to rewrap yourself in the wrapping paper, and we ask why? Why did you allow self to open to the level you have opened to, only to allow yourself to be closed down? What is the sense of purpose that you have deep within your heart space, and why is it there? These questions are not designed to kickstart the human logical mind, they are there to help you deal with the illusions that are now manifesting around you, seeking at all times to persuade you that the event is other than it is. Many of you are seeking actual detailed definition of the event, and we ask why? Each reality upon and within planet Earth experienced through the human vehicle is personal. Why would an event not also be personal? The reality experienced around you is not the same for all. It cannot be, and this is what these higher dimensional energies seek to illuminate through you, around you, and within you. For the old 3D Earth-created reality can barely hold on. It is transparent. It seeks to solidify itself through the triggering of the deepest emotions that arise within the human vehicle, and all are aware of this. So the higher dimensional frequencies seek to push these lower dimensional frequencies to the surface of your human vehicle. As this channel has guided, you can only dissolve something that you can see. The human race has walked blind for eons, and now they are illuminated. View this as a purge of your emotional body. View it as the clearing and cleansing of all lower dimensional frequencies in preparation for the event. For the event is a personal creation that you are manifesting moment to moment. This was manifest prior to this incarnation and has been illuminated clearly through you, around you, and within you, and your soul seeks to show you this. It must illuminate through the wrappings of the old 3D Earth-created reality, and you are asked to unwrap self in order to receive the gift from your soul. I am Ipchris, and I am here with you as you read my words as brought through this channel. All are one, all just as and you are. Allow the cleansing and the clearing, and allow the process that now seeks to birth your greatest gifts upon and within this planet. More information will be shared as the event approaches, and we guide that the arrival of the event is personal. For as you dissolve the old 3D Earth-created reality, you dissolve the linear time concept that you were taught you had to live within. This is not truth, and now this truth will be shown to all. All just as and you are. Linear is a creation of the old 3D Earth-created reality. Multidimensionality cannot be aligned with linear. Let go and be at this time. Your soul is gifting you a new life, in a new world on a new earth. The gift is offered. Do you accept?
Alright, nice message. So, again, the importance of this message, like others, is we need to take charge of who we are. We need to be able to look at the darkness of life and say, screw you. We're not going to get caught up in all of your lies and your darkness. We need to understand that the terrorists of the world, the Obamas, and all the other murderous Bushes and Cheneys, and the liars and the corrupt bankers and the politicians, they can talk their game all they want, but it ain't going to stop the good people of the world, because goodness out trumps the badness all the time. God overcomes the darkness. Light comes in to shine brightly. So all we have to do is continue to have faith. Continue to have faith. That's it, my friends. It's not a difficult process. It really, really isn't. I know that people say, oh, well, they got the guns. There's 300 million Americans. There's a small minority that are causing problems. All that we have to do in America to stop the problems is the 300 million Americans need to remember their courage and stand up against it. And then all the goodness that we want to happen will be good. Okay? So let's concentrate on the goodness that we believe can happen in this life. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, and exhale again. I want you to imagine today's affirmation. I open myself to beauty and joy and harmony of the universe and enjoy it. I open myself to the beauty, joy, and harmony of the universe, and I enjoy it. And let those words resonate through your being, and continue on with this affirmation. God's will for my life releases me and sets me free. I'm a grounding point for miraculous energy to express. My life is an adventure in spiritual growth and unfoldment. I am filled to overflowing with the good of God. High thoughts of health and beauty manifest as my body temple. Gratitude and appreciation light my path and show the way, and so it is. Amen. And take another deep breath, and exhale. And I want you to imagine the world. And I want you to imagine people on the world. And let the faces of those stand out. Who are those supposed leaders of the world? And let yourself see clearly those faces of those who are out doing corrupt things in the world. The politicians, the bankers, the judges, the lawyers, the police officers, the everyday folks who are caught up in the lies, the mainstream media. Just think of these people. And let's just imagine at this moment sending love to all of these people and watching them either change their ways to doing the good things, or let's just watch them fade away from existence. Let them fade away into existence so we never have to deal with their energies again. And let's imagine love becomes the ruling force of this planet. I want you to imagine a teeter-totter. And imagine that we are all on this teeter-totter, but we are standing on one side, a side that is not working for us. So let's imagine all of us who want good things to happen start walking along this teeter-totter. And as you get to the middle of it, it starts to balance out. And you keep walking until you get to the other side, and then the teeter-totter swings to the whole other extreme. And just like that, all of the badness is flipped. And all of those causing bad things are thrown off of this planet, gone in the blink of an eye. And the balance has switched to the goodness. And goodness grows and love grows. And we celebrate the fact that there is no more corruption, no more liars, that they are gone, gone, gone. Let us imagine a world without all of these individuals causing problems. Let us imagine a world of light and love, of strength and courage. And as you go into the world today, let your subconscious mind send out this courage, this inspiration of courage and strength to everyone you meet. Let them know with a look that you are standing strong, and you support them standing strong as well up against the tyranny and the darkness. And let's imagine God smiling down upon the planet. Smiling because we, as humanity, finally stood up and finally threw the darkness and the evil off of this planet, as the way that we have been destined to do. So let the subconscious mind go on. Let's imagine sending out love into the world along with this strength and courage. Let the subconscious mind continue sending those out, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show. It's that simple, man. We can get rid of all of the problems. We just have to wish them away. That's it. It's really simple. Everything that's in the world that we have now has come about because we've created it. So if we want good things, let's just create the good things. We can do them instantaneously. And the more of us that do them, the quicker and quicker we can do these things. So let's just keep doing the good, and let's just keep bringing in God. And we do that, we're going to be okay. Much light and love to all of you. I'll be back Monday. Have an awesome weekend. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here. God bless you.